All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Single Lady Chronicles, Single Lady Chronicles. Hey, it is your friend Rhenotha, and this is the Single Lady Chronicles web series. I'm trying to see if my mic works. I think you can hear me. Even if you can't hear me through the microphone that I am wearing, you could likely hear me through this device. But thank you for tuning in tonight. You already know how I do. I'm gonna just keep going. I'm gonna just keep it going. So listen, tonight we were supposed to start a web series called Dating Back Then versus Dating Now. Because it's a big old difference. It's a big old difference. And I want to learn, I want to hear from married people on how they got, I want to hear from husbands on how they courted their wives. And I want to hear from wives how their husbands courted them. So I'm going to be talking with people. Tonight's guest was going to be recording artist April Gant. Please check her out. Her Facebook, Instagram is I am April, APRYL. She's amazing, an amazing vocalist. She sings gospel music with an R&B flair. She's a recording artist, and she is just super dope. She's been married for 15 years. But tonight she wasn't able to come because her husband hurt himself. So she had to go home. And you know me, I don't really like to do the squares for broadcasts. So I like in person. I like to be able to touch you. I like us to be in a room and vibe. With that being said, she's not going to be here tonight, but we do have a show for you. Okay. If you do not know who I actually am, my name is Rhenotha Whitaker. I am a lifelong community organizer. My background is in community organizing. I am a deputy director of a not-for-profit organization that I co-founded with Katim Sherail. I am the founding deputy director of programs at Clinton Hill Community Action. And also I have a background in entertainment, which is why this kind of, not fell in my lap, but which is why I do this show, because I just think it's important. I'm out here dating and I figured, you know what, let me, have conversations about, I'm out here dating, and I'm also out here being a single woman navigating in the world. Also in my entertainment life, I was a correspondent on the Dr. Oz show for 7 years, from 2015 to 2022. Right after, a little bit after the pandemic, happened. This isn't like, this doing a web series isn't foreign to me. It's not new. It's not something that just fell in my lap. It is my background. I am a SAG-AFTRA actress. And by SAG-AFTRA, I am in the acting union, which means, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Now that fell in my lap. I ain't gonna lie. I'm an overall entertainer, and, the Lord really has really given me favor in my career and everything that I have been able to do. And so with that being said, since I'm a bootleg doctor and I was on the Dr. Oz show, I call myself a bootleg doctor. And anybody who knows me, if you're family, if you've met me before, even when I go to the doctor, they're like, "Are you in the medical field?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just inquisitive." Okay. And, when you go to the doctor, point number one, you don't just take their word for it. You want to be all up in their business. You want to take what they say, ask questions, not get a second opinion, but if you feel like you want to get in a second opinion, that makes sense too. But you want to be all about your business when it comes to the medical field, right? And so tonight's topic, among hot topics, but the primary topic tonight is going to be, did you know I was a bootleg doctor? You know I'm a bootleg doctor, right? Now, here's the thing. I have doctor friends, so I will have an expert. I'm not just gonna, have, this talk and just you don't have to just take my word for it, right? So I'm going to have conversation tonight about what single people what single people should do in the event that something happens. And by something, child, I'm sweating in here. The air is not on in here. I'm in my closet. I'm back in my closet tonight. Hold on. I'll be right back. Sure. Child out here sweating. But anyway, so tonight's, did you know I was a bootleg doctor? Mm-hmm. And so by that, when you're home alone, when you are single and something happens in the house, you need to be able to think fast on what to do, because you might not be able to call somebody right away. You might not be able, obviously, we have our phones, but you want to be quick about it. You want to try and remedy whatever the situation is before you, while you're calling 911, while you're calling 911 and while you're trying to get some help, because you don't want to just wait because you don't know what to do. And so I have a few things that I want to talk about, me being a bootleg doctor, and give you some insight on what to do if something happens and you're home alone, because you're single. So the first thing I thought about was falling. My biggest fear about being single and being home alone is falling in the tub. Baby, if you know me, I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm 5'11", and I'm a sizable woman. Okay. I'm a traditionally built African woman, as my friend Helen Musira would say. And I'm tall. So I'm tall. I have some size about me, and the worst thing is falling in the tub. And so what should you do? What should you do? A lot of people say, oh, you're on your phone too much, you're on the phone too much, you're on your phone too much. But when you are, the first thing you should do is keep your phone close to you. Now we're going to have this conversation again with an expert, with real medical professional experts, but I'm just bringing it up now. And so you want to keep your phone close to you. All right. The research that I found was, they said, keep your phone close to you, but all of them. I don't have an Apple. I'm an Android. I said what I said. Don't come for me. Okay. Don't at me. Yes. Anyway, I'm an Android. So keep your phone close to you. You can call out, okay, Google, or hey, Siri. Woo! My God. Okay. And also, if you have a wrist watch or something like that and you fall suddenly, the alert recognizes that something happened. So that's one thing that we want to talk to a medical professional about, because you never know what can happen if you fall in the tub, and anything, your neck, your back, you can move an inch and something could happen. So have your phone with you at all times. Have your phone with you at all times. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Edith. Hey, Washima. I appreciate y'all for chiming in. Please, if there is something medical that you want to know, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. My name is Rhenotha Whitaker. I am your host and creator of Single Lady Chronicles web series. Please, please, please. Tonight we are talking about me being a bootleg doctor and having conversation about what you should do in the event that something happens and you are home alone because you are single. Okay. And if you have a medical question that you want to ask, put it in the chat. Put it in on in the comments so that when I do bring on my medical professional, we have exactly what you want to hear, right? Hey Joyce Hassan, hey Seychelle, thank y'all for tuning in. Seychelle, feel better. Hey girl. Okay. Number 2. Well, the first one I brought up today was falling in the tub. Have your phone with you. Have your phone with you at all times, even in the bathroom, so you can be able to call out. Thank God for technology. Siri, Google, call 911. That's what you want to do. Okay. If you fall and you're home alone and you're single. All right. Number 2, if you're having unusual chest pain or shortness of breath, don't just dismiss it. Don't just dismiss it. Obviously, what that is signs of, it could be heart issue. It could be, I don't want to say it, stroke. You understand what I'm saying? And so, the things you need to look out for are jaw pain, nausea, fatigue, back or neck pain. Okay. And as soon as you get your wits about you, hey, Kim Gaddy, you, of course, need to regulate whatever is happening and then follow up with a medical professional. Medical professional on the way, y'all. I'm just coming up with topics. What should you do in shortness of breath? Or if you have shortness of breath or unusual chest pain? That's one thing I'm worrying about. One thing I'm worrying about is falling in the bathroom. I don't have the answer, but I'm going to have a medical professional come on and we're going to talk about it because, I'm a bootleg doctor. And so I want to confer with them. You're so welcome, Seychelle. All right. Number 3, severe headache, sudden severe headache, like a thunderclap. You want to get to the ER. That's one thing I'm worried about. Why is my head hurting so bad? For me, now, this is what I would do. I turn all the lights out. I turn all the noise off. I turn the TV off. I close the curtains. I get my blind. I get my blackout curtains, and I relax my face. I try and do the temple rub. Relax my face, relax your shoulders. See what happens. Right? Get you some water, take a sip, relax your face, and see what happens. Sometimes that might work. But listen, we're going to ask a medical professional. Because I have medical professional friends and they're going to come on and we're going to go through this list again. But if that's something that you are worried about, put it in the comments. Let me know if that's something that you're worried about. Okay. If there's something that I'm not saying that you might be worried about as a single person and you are home alone, put it in the comments. Let me know so that when my medical professional expert does come on, they can tell you how to get through it. All right. Here we go. Number 4. Now, this is a biggie. Signs of a stroke. When you feel like there's signs of a stroke, you need to be fast. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. BEFAST. Balance. You need to recognize be fast. If there's balance issues, if there's changes in your eyesight, if your face is drooping, if there's arm weakness, if your speech is slurred, and then it's time to call 911. Okay? That is how you recognize if you are having a stroke. Be fast. Balance issues, eyesight changes, your face is drooping, you have arm weakness, it's like you're holding weights, and your speech is slurred, and then it's time to call 911. The key to the key to not having a stroke become severe is to be fast. Okay. That's one thing I'm worried about. I'm home alone. I don't know what's going on. So that's one of the things I want to ask my medical professional friends when they come on the show. Okay. Whew. Choking while alone. You ain't got nobody to pat you on the back. You ain't got nobody to do the Heimlich. Okay. How do you overcome that? We all know, we've all taken a CPR class. You got to you got to use your chair or get to a counter to give yourself the Heimlich. Okay. You got to push your upper stomach against it. Listen, it's hard out here being a single person. Okay. And you ain't got nobody to help you out in the event that you might choke on that, movie night popcorn. You laying in the bed eating popcorn, sipping on your cocktail. Okay. And all of a sudden, you gotta know what to do. So, Dr. Friend, you know who you are. I don't want to say who you are yet, but you coming. You're going to help us out. Is that something, people, that you're worried about? If it is, put it in the comments. If there is something that you are worried about, and I didn't mention it tonight, put it in the comments, okay? We are talking about being home alone as a single person and something emergent medical happens. What do? We would need to talk to a medical professional about that. And they're coming. These are some topics. I'm doing some research tonight, y'all. So I'm going to have a medical professional on a couple times. It could be a foot doctor. It could be a family doctor. It could be a general practitioner. It could be anybody. It could be an oncologist. It could be anybody. What questions do you want to ask those kinds of doctors in the event that something should happen to you while you are home and you are single and it happens quick? What should you do? Okay. That is what we're talking about tonight. Cause I'm a bootleg doctor. Woo! So when I was 8 years old, my mother and I were the same height. When I was 8 years old, hi, Ian. Love you, Ian. Hi, Anita. My mother and I was the same height. So as you can imagine, baby, I was cooking at 8 years old. One time I was frying some cornbread. We was making hoe cakes. Okay. Frying some cornbread and the grease splashed on my 3 fingers. I think you can probably still see the marks from years ago when I was 8. But the grease splashed on my 3 fingers and it was excruciating. I got the blisters and all that. What you should know how to take care of a grease burn or a cooking burn. It's pour cold water over it. Pour cold water. That's it. Pour cold water. And then if it's really severe, you get to an emergent situation. But listen, we're going to ask a doctor when they get here. We're going to ask a doctor. Hey, Shakur. Ann was on the Dr. Oz show with me. She was my hairstylist. Hey, Ann. Okay. Now, I don't know anything about allergies. I don't have allergies, but a lot of people do. And so if you don't have an EpiPen, what do you do? Allergies, anaphylaxis. What do you do if you are home alone and there's an allergic reaction to something? I'm going to bring a medical professional on. We're going to go through all of these. If there's something that you want to know that if you're home alone and something medical happens, you need to know what to do. I'm going to have an expert on. Put it in the comments so I can have that for my medical professional. They can prepare and we can give you all the tea on what to do in that situation because you're single and you home alone. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Food poisoning. What should you do? Y'all, food poisoning. If you feel like you had some food poisoning situation, what should you happen? What should you happen? What should you do? Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. I am your host, Rhenotha Whitaker. I'm host and creator, Rhenotha Whitaker. Thank you for tuning in. This week, we are talking all about medical issues. Medical issues. And what you should do in the event that a medical issue should occur and you are home alone by yourself. How to make sure that that medical situation doesn't get severe before you get to a doctor. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and recap. Number one was if you fall in the tub and you can't get up, yell out, Siri, Google, call 911. I don't have Siri. I don't have, but your phone does. Your phone does. Even if you don't have those echoes or something in the house, your phone does. So make sure you have your phone with you at all times, even in the bathroom, even while you're in the shower, because you might fall in the tub and ain't nobody got time for that. Unusual chest pain or shortness of breath. What should you do? I'm going to ask a doctor. These are the things that are on my list. What's on your list? What's on your list in the event that you're home alone and something happens? What would you want to ask a medical professional on Single Lady Chronicles? Okay. Sudden severe headache. What should you do? What should you do? Signs of a stroke. If there are signs of a stroke, you need to be fast. You need to be fast. If there are balance issues, if there are changes in your eyesight, your face is drooping, you have arm weakness, your speech is slurred, call 911. It's time to call 911. BEFAST. Okay? Listen, choking while you're home alone. You need to know how to give yourself a Heimlich maneuver. Okay? If you go up against a counter or a chair and you thrust your stomach. I do know that one, but we're going to confirm that with the medical professional. Hey, medical professional friend, because you know I'm a bootleg doctor, right? Burns, cold water. Burns while you're home. Just run it under some cold water immediately, and then you seek a medical professional. If there's an allergic reaction, you need to know what to do. These are some things that I'm wondering. What are you wondering? Put it in the comments. Tell me, what are you wondering? Huh? Because, yeah, we're going to do a show with a medical professional and they are going to enlighten us on what we should do if we're home alone as single people. So put in the comments, what are you wondering? Okay, that's one of the things that I'm wondering. Food poisoning. How do I know? Okay, what are some symptoms of food poisoning? And then if you out in the street or you went to the club or you went out for a drink or something like that and your drink is spiked, how do you know? What are some warning signs? What are some warning signs? I need to find out. What in the world? Okay, so that is my list. I can't wait for my medical professional friends to come on and help us out with navigating medical issues while you are home single. I'm a bootleg doctor, but everybody's not a bootleg doctor. So you need to know how to think fast. You need to know what to do in the event that something catastrophic happens. We're talking about carbon monoxide. We're talking how to, sense carbon monoxide, what to do. Just anything. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. What would you want to ask a medical professional about being home alone and something medically emergent happens? Okay. So that's what I'm wondering. Listen, if you're watching the replay, put it in the comments. What would you want to talk to a doctor about? What would you want to what are your wonderings on how you should deal with something in the event that you are home by yourself that is a medical emergent situation? Listen, my name is Rhenotha Whitaker. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. I appreciate you for tuning in tonight. It's a short show tonight. I do want to talk about some series a series that is going to be happening. I'm going to be doing a conversation about dating then versus now. Dating then versus now. It's totally different. It is totally different. We got a whole lot of men swiping, a whole lot of women swiping. And when I tell you, Like, I don't want to say people aren't being intentional, but um, people are just being selective, and they are, you know, let me just say it, ain't nobody moving with intention. I didn't want to say that because I don't want to disparage what's happening in 2025. Um, but I do want to maybe give some insight onto how we used to do it, to encourage somebody to maybe encourage men, encourage women on how to be more intentional when dating. And so I figured, hey, why don't I just do that with some married people? Why don't I get some married folks and have them tell their story on how they found each other, on how they were intentional about each other, and how they courted, right? Because courting is different from 20 years ago than it is now. And so, yeah, please tune in next week. I'm going to have GL Douglas, comedian extraordinaire, Christian comedian GL Douglas. She is amazing. She has been married, I think, for 10 years. And so she's going to give some insight into how she and her husband found each other, and how that courtship was like. Okay. So thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow, if you're in the Newark area, I'm going to be performing at Clinton Hill Community Actions Seniors Day Out. It's our Seniors in Action program. They are having their Seniors Day Out sneaker ball, and I'm their headliner. So join us tomorrow at the Clinton Avenue Soundstage in Newark, New Jersey, at Clinton and on Clinton Avenue between Peshon and Jelliff. It starts at 1:00. We want to see you. The show, I'm not going to tell you what time the show starts because you know how you do, but so come on out tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. Seniors Day Out starts at 1:00. We're going to be singing. Shout out to all my background singers, Shakur, April, Gail Campbell, and Peaches. All right. So if y'all in the Newark area tomorrow, August 2nd, 1:00 p.m. on Clinton Avenue near Peshon and Jelliff Avenue, I hope to see y'all. Okay. Again, thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. We'll see you next week with my guest, GL Douglas, comedian GL Douglas. We're going to kick off that series of dating then versus now. Thank you for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. Have a good night. Bye.